Number 10. Bugatti Chiron. The Volkswagen Group's trophy brand, Bugatti, made history when it gave us the fastest production car in the world in 2005. The W16-engined, 987 brake horsepower, four-wheel drive Veyron broke through the 250 miles per hour barrier. But it couldn't and wouldn't be regarded as the ultimate performance car forever. Enter, in 2016, the Chiron. Where the Veyron used aluminium spaceframe construction, the Chiron has a lighter carbon fiber monocoque. Where the Veyron stopped short of 1,200 brake horsepower in its final forms, the Chiron UPS that to nearly 1,500. And where the Veyron left Bugatti's top speed yardstick at 268 miles per hour, the Chiron has, in 1,578 brake horsepower super sport form, taken what has become an increasingly highly contested world production car speed record up beyond the 300 miles per hour marker, where it currently rests at 304.7 miles per hour. Number 9. Pagani Huayra. Pagani is a maker of cars so rare and exotic that it once offered leather driving accessories that had been blessed by the Bishop of Rome himself, or so the story goes. The Modenese firm's latest offering is the Huayra, introduced in 2012, back when 720 brake horsepower and 738 pounds-ft seemed like a faintly ludicrous amounts of power and torque to try to put through one driven axle in a road car. Driven by a twin-turbocharged 6.0-liter V12 from Mercedes-AMG, the Huayra did indeed prove itself to be a physically challenging driver's car from the old school, with handling demanding respect and every shred of your concentration if you dared disable the stability aids. But it's beautifully communicative and honest too, and so rich, immersive and special to drive at almost any speed as to be totally intoxicating. Number 8. Aston Martin Vulcan. When hypercars get excessive, they do it with some style, and the Aston Martin Vulcan is certainly excessive. This 820 brake horsepower, track-only, carbon-tubbed hypercar, built from a chassis and engine adapted from that of the Aston Martin 1-77, produces 118 dB of exhaust noise, enough by a long way to earn it an immediate black flag on almost any track day in the UK. Baffled, that same exhaust pipes down to 103 dB, which would just about squeak under some noise limits, but only while the car's mufflers will withstand the force of the exhaust gases, which they won't for very long. Back to top. While you're deafening the locals, however, the Vulcan is an utterly sublime car to drive on a circuit. It's lurid, vivid, challenging and physically demanding, and that feels like a racing car in every inch of its dynamic makeup. Immersive and wonderful like few other cars ever built, the Vulcan's handling is unexpectedly approachable and completely faithful. Number 7. Koenigsegg One. Numbers speak volumes when it comes to describing the quickest thing yet to come out of Ängelholm, Sweden that doesn't have jet engines and air-to-air missiles. The Koenigsegg One costs $2.55 million. Its turbocharged, ethanol-fueled V8 develops more than 1,300 brake horsepower. In the right conditions, claims its maker, it's capable of cracking 250 miles per hour from rest in less than 20 seconds. And yet it's easier to drive at sane speeds than our tester could believe, making plenty of torque off boost, although the action of the automated twin-clutch gearbox takes some getting used to. The One is a real white-knuckle ride, by contrast, when you squeeze its accelerator pedal floorwards and listen as those turbochargers spool up, sending greater and greater force towards a pair of rear wheels that can run short of traction even in the higher gears. But when the One's aerodynamics start to work and it finally hits its stride above 125 miles per hour, it's nothing short of otherworldly. Number 6. Porsche 918 Spyder. Carrying heavier and more powerful electric motors and more battery capacity than either of its hypercar competitors from Ferrari or McLaren, the Porsche 918 Spyder made greater play of its 21st century zero-emissions technology than its rivals and had a breadth of appeal as a driver's car that neither could quite level with. This car can be driven for around 15 miles on electric power alone, and then charged up at home to do it all again. In time-honored Porsche supercar type, it's little harder to drive than the 718 Boxster, and it's a convertible. But it also has a motorsport-derived normally aspirated V8 engine that revs to almost 9,000 RPM, and makes the car both raw and exciting in full-bore mode. There's four-wheel drive, too, and more than 900 pounds-ft of torque, making the 918 Spyder accelerate from rest with true savagery. And while it's heavy, boy is it ever fast around the right kind of track. It's the former holder of our dry handling track lap record, no less, and wrecker of the McLaren P1 status as such. Number 5. Lotus Evija. Electric hypercars will always be contentious when they're competing with the very high-revving, noisiest, fastest and most dramatic combustion engine performance cars in the world, but they are undoubtedly in the process of taking this niche by the force of instant, walloping, vectored per corner torque. And the only example we've yet to do any more than ride in is the awesome Lotus Evija, which our man Mike Duff drove in prototype form around Lotus's own test track at Hethel. Back to top. Electric or not, this car's key vital statistics leave nothing to chance. Its 70 kilowatt-hours drive battery and quartet of drive motors make it weigh some 1,700 kilograms, but it also develops some 2,000 metric horsepower at peak, runs on Pirelli P0 Trofeo R tires, and it's claimed to be capable of 0 to 186 miles per hour in just 9 seconds, more than 4 seconds quicker than Bugatti's sensational Chiron can do it. Number 4, Mercedes-AMG Project ONE. Power output is to be 986 brake horsepower, which is roughly the same as having 29 classic minis powering you down the road. However, the red line is reported to be set at 11,000 RPM for 1,000 down on the F1 car limit, giving it one of the highest redlines on the open road. As for the rest of the performance, the top speed is to be in the region of 217 miles per hour, and even though there has been no confirmation of 0 to 60 miles per hour time, Mercedes is claiming that the Project One will get from 0 to 124 miles per hour in less than 6 seconds. Number 3, McLaren Senna. When McLaren adopted the name of its most revered and tragically fated F1 racing driver to use as the model identity of its latest Ultimate Series hypercar, a sharp intake of breath was taken throughout the motorsport world and the car industry alike. Could invoking the memory of such a legendary, much-missed figure as Ayrton Senna, and then using it to do something as corporate as selling a new car, any car, ever be made to look like a good idea? Was Ayrton's name really McLaren's to use? Chances are you might already have a strong opinion on that, and for various reasons, on whether you like the idea, or the unflinching function over form aesthetic of this car. Just don't rule out the possibility that a drive in the incredible Senna hypercar, the fastest, most advanced, most exciting and most purposeful road legal track car that its maker could create, might change your mind. Number 2, McLaren P1. McLaren Automotive's first Ultimate Series car had to follow in the footsteps of the firm's legendary and celebrated F1, which built the company a worldwide reputation all by itself. McLaren resisted the temptation to make the P1 a modern facsimile of the F1, however, instead having a 903 brake horsepower hybrid electric powertrain, a 2-seat interior, state-of-the-art suspension technology, lightweight construction and competition-grade aerodynamics to deliver the fastest, most focused and most exciting performance car it could imagine, fit for equally unprecedented thrills on both road and track. The particular thrills the P1 conjures make it incredibly fast and purposeful at pace and capable of challenging and rewarding its driver to a level that only racing drivers normally experience. On the road, it's surprisingly docile and drivable, although less mind-bogglingly exciting than McLaren made it out to be. But you won't find a more technologically advanced, remorselessly effective, or exquisitely purposeful performance car anywhere in the world than this. Number 1, Ferrari LaFerrari. Ferrari's latest top-of-the-tree hypercar is nothing less than the greatest and most sensational peak that the performance car has ever reached. Powered by an incredible, spine-tingling, naturally aspirated, 789 brake horsepower 6.3-liter V12 assisted by 161 brake horsepower of electric power channeled direct to the rear wheels, the LaFerrari's powertrain makes an incredible 950 brake horsepower all told. Although we never got the chance to strap our timing gear to one, Ferrari claims the car hurls itself to 62 miles per hour in just 2.4 seconds, and to 186 miles per hour in just 15 seconds. And yet, in spite of its enormous performance and mind-boggling mechanical complication, the LaFerrari has absurdly benign and exploitable limit-handling manners that make it so much more approachable and exciting to drive on a circuit than you'd ever believe it could be. Ferrari charged more than $1 million for each car. It made 500 in all, producing the last of them in 2015. And has so far succeeded it only with the FXXK Track Special and the LaFerrari Aperta convertible. The LaFerrari is a monument to everything Ferrari does singularly well, and still our reigning hypercar standard bearer.